Hey, Mike Martinez, and today we're going to talk about living the dream. Is it possible or is it just a fantasy? Don't go away. We'll be right back. Hey guys, Mike Martinez, and if this is the first time you've seen my videos or landed on my channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that you can get notified every time we put a video out there, and maybe you know, help alter something in your mind. Today we're going to talk about living the dream, guys, because you know what? I used to be an EMT. And in that profession, you know, you go in and out of hospitals and medical centers and nursing homes and stuff like that. And whenever I met somebody, some other EMT, we would say, "Hey, how's it going, man?" And they would put on this sour face and they'd say, "Living the dream, man." Right? And I just couldn't understand that, right? Why would you even say that if you got this face like, man, this is miserable for me, right? So I kept wondering, is it possible? Is it really possible to live the dream, right? You ever question yourself on that? Is it possible to really go out there, or is it just a fantasy? Well, I'll tell you what, guys, very interesting. For the majority of people, it's not possible. It's a shame that it's not possible, but the fact of the matter is most people have little control over their minds and over their actions, and so they just can't, you know, they're influenced in so many different directions that they can't hold on to a dream and really make it happen. But here's an interesting story. There was a golfer by the name of Ben Hogan. And Ben Hogan was, you know, a professional golfer, and he was on his way to a tournament with his wife and got into a head-on collision with another car. And in order to save his wife's life, he jumped in front of her, and he got most of the damage. Right, and he was immediately in critical condition. The car was destroyed. There was golf clubs all over the road and stuff. And believe it or not, it was almost like the guy was dead, and he's being treated by ambulances and stuff like that. And he whispered to his wife, "Please pick up my golf clubs." Right, and so the ambulance workers are putting him in the ambulance and you know, and making sure that he's on a straight board and a neck brace and all this stuff. And his wife is out there collecting these mangled golf clubs. And one of the EMTs came to her and said, "Man, what are you doing?" She said, "My husband asked me to pick up the clubs." And he said, "Man, your husband is in dire straits and he's in critical condition, and we don't even think he's going to make it through the night." And she said, "You don't know my husband." Okay. They said she was delusional. She doesn't want to accept reality. They rushed him to the hospital. He made it overnight. Next day they said, "Wow, you're a lucky guy, but unfortunately, you're not going to walk anymore." And he said, "You got that wrong. I'm going to walk again." And when the doctors pulled his wife to the side and said, "You know, I hate to say it, but he's a bit delusional. He's not going to walk anymore," she said, "You don't know my husband." Right? Think about that. Now, again, you could say, wow, you know, maybe the guy was a little bit delusional. right? Major accident. He got in front of her. He got the blunt of the damage. His bones are crushed. His spine is mangled. And yet, he's saying, I'm going to get out of this. Not only did he say, I'm going to get out of this, he said, I'm going to play golf again. And now the doctors are really freaking out. He made his wife take those mangled golf clubs and hang them from the ceiling. Imagine that. In a hospital. In a hospital room, he had these golf clubs, mangled golf clubs, that were hanging from the ceiling because he wanted to remind himself of the accident and what he had to go through and how he had to break through and what he needed to do to straighten every one of those up and be able to play golf again. He didn't give up on the dream. He found a way to magnify this idea in his mind. Right? And here's the odd part, guys. Not only was he able to walk away, not only was he able to play golf again, but he won more tournaments after the accident than prior to the accident. Now, here's a man clearly living his dreams. Now, what's the difference between, Ben, that amazing golfer, that amazing human being, Ben Hogan, and the average person that just, living the dream? What's the difference? The difference is that Ben Hogan had the mind power. Had the mind power to fix his mind on the fact that he needed to heal his body. On the fact that he was going to walk again. On the fact that he was going to swing a golf club again. On the fact that he was going to win tournaments. You see where that is? Everybody has that power. You have that power to say, this is what I want. And you know what? I'm not giving up. I know that expert said, no way, I can't do that. But I'm going to do it. And you have to have somebody like Ben Hogan's wife, right? Because irregardless of what the expert said, she said, you don't know my husband. He's going to make it happen. And I'm sure she was a comfort to him. I'm sure she had this ability to inspire him to continue to feed on that growth that he had, that idea, right? Honey, I don't feel so well today. Don't worry. You're going to pull out of this. You're going to be back in the circuit. You're going to be swinging the club again. Right? Think about that. So, what's the message? The message is, don't give up on your dream. As unusual as you may think it is, as many people that may say you're a freaking nut to think about that. You know what? Unless people say you're a nut, you ain't thinking big enough. That's what I'm going to tell you. Right? You want people to come back to you and say, oh, Mike, lower that a little bit because that's a little too high for you, bud. Really? That's interesting you say that. You don't know me. Right? You have the ability to prove people wrong. You have the ability and the gift, and it's a gift from God, to do whatever it is you want. If you can take your mind and focus it for an extended period of time, put your body into it where you feel that action already in presence, even when all the other external things, all the other indications are saying, no, not going to happen. Look at yourself. You got to go contrary to all that. But if you do, I guarantee you, if you stay persistent on a dream, if you stay persistent on an idea, you can make it happen. Right? The issue is, can you control your mind to that point? Can you control your body to the point where, you know what? I could step into it. And here's how it happens, guys. You know, in the beginning, you know, people say, Mike, how do you get into a position where you've never been there? How do you feel something you've never been? And you know how that happens? That happens incrementally. Every day, you look at your journal, and because you took the time to write out your goal, see that right there? That's my goal. Not going to share it with you, but that's my goal. And it's far out right now. But I read it every day, and guess what? At some point, I'm going to read it to such a point where I'm already at that degree where I believe it. And once you start believing it, you start feeling it. And once you start believing and feeling it, it starts to attract the people, circumstances, and things that you need to make that happen. That's what happens. That's the beauty of what the gift that God gave us. You have the ability, but you got to be able to concentrate the mind. You got to be able to hold on to a thought. You got to be able to program your subconscious mind to accept that belief, right? Right now, you believe things that are not true. I'm telling you, if you're going to believe a lie, create your own lie. How about that? How about that for teaching, right? Create your own lie. If it's going to benefit you, yes, I say create your own lie. Go through it every day. Drill that lie in your mind. Get that picture. That picture that everybody says, no way you can do that. Prove them all wrong. You have the ability. It's up to you. Can you hold on to an idea? No doubt about it. You got to write it down. You got to think about it. You got to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And eventually, it comes from here, the conscious mind, into whoop, the subconscious mind. And now, once the subconscious mind accepts it, that's it. It doesn't question. It doesn't criticize. It doesn't doubt. It just does. And that is the key. That's what Ben Hogan did. He sat there in that hospital bed and he convinced his mind of the lie. Right? Which ended up turning out to be reality. Which ended up turning out to be the truth. But initially it was the lie to everybody, except his wife and him. I'm asking you, if you're serious, right? You may not be. I don't know. Maybe you got a goal that you think is so far-fetched you'll never achieve. I'm telling you, you can do the most outstanding things if you just persist on the idea. If you just lock in the idea. Right? It's up to you. Mike Martinez, put it into practice. Right? Again, first time you're here, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you could get notified whenever we do a video. Give me a comment. Give me a thumbs up. Share this video. Right? And hopefully you and I will meet someday. Remember, it's your time to shine.